Good evening, everyone. Didn't know if it was going to go live there or not. I know I look very different. Give me a moment. I actually thought it wouldn't go live there for a second. I put on some relaxing music, so why not? I not put it too high in there because there's a few things I want to say. Fuck these ads. My God. Hate these ads. A few things about the top, but I hate these. If it would like to work for me, it would be great. I hate this light up here. If I get away with it, I literally will shoot it in the game, of course, in the game. Good evening, everyone. I hate this light. It's just awkward with streaming. So I suppose it's a bit better than nothing, I suppose. Few things I need to talk about. What is this doing here? Hello, Sean. How are we doing? Member use. It's okay. How is things, Sean? How are we doing? I know it's been a while. When was it? Monday night I went live, yeah. Well, I knew anyway it wouldn't be live Wednesday. I pretty much said it. I knew I had a lot of things to do Wednesday. So I kind of knew I wouldn't be live. So it feels like a while. This Monday since the last stream. That's a bit too loud, but you fuck with it. It'll be grand. A few things anyway I need to talk. I'm just getting them ready here. So I don't know. First of all, there's a lot of talk in Cavan at the moment about this fish that's turned up from Peru in a lake in Cavan, wherever the fuck wherever it came from. Well, I take Captain somebody brought it over, which I don't know would the fish be still alive if you brought it from Peru, which I don't know how it ended up here. From literally South America, you know. No, it actually was a lie. Like, how could you? I suppose just thinking about that there now, you know, I don't know. Would you be able to even bring that in through an airport or something like that? A live fish from Peru, you know. I don't know what customs allow you, but to be totally honest, you know, they allow people in without passports, you know. Yeah, but I don't know how. You know, how did they get them in? How did they get it in? Like, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm sure that I don't know. You know, I'm sure they would ask questions if you turned up to the airport with a fish from a non-native Irish fish, you know. Because I'm sure if you turned up to Australia with an Irish fish, you know, I think you'd be set back very quickly. So there's questions to be asked for that, you know, how it turned up, and especially because this lake, where it was found, it's not connected to, you know, basically to, well, I don't know, the streams and stuff like that. Man, no fish, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you know, it's very, you know, it's just peculiar. Like, I wouldn't mind if it was a fish from England or something like that. You found it, well, pretty much Irish fish would be maybe the same as English fish. But it's the fact that it's all the way in Peru, you know, turned up from Peru. I know, I get what you're saying, but I suppose it has to be looked into. But I'll talk about it in a second too. But it's there's a lot of people just talking about because it's unheard of, and especially because people are asking the question: is there more of these fish just in the sea, like in the rivers and lakes? Because obviously it would be a lot more fishes. It is probably a lot more fishes of a fish than an only Irish fish, take for example. So it could probably, you know, because obviously if you bring on, like, take for example, if you bring in animals that are not native to a country, that's going to cause problems, you know, because it's not supposed to be really here. Let's put it that way. It's the same if we brought fish from Ireland over to Peru or something like that. It's, you know, non-native species you're bringing into a country. You know, it's not the best thing to do. Let's put it that way. And especially because if there's more, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if one person brought it over and just let it loose in a lake in Cavan, take for example, they definitely just didn't bring one. They brought must have been about 60. If it was, you know, we haven't found them yet, but we'll see what happens. But there's great talk about it at the moment. A lot of people are just very confused about it. We no wonder Eamon Ryan's on. Eamon Ryan will be down soon saying about it. Bet you any money what they're going to come out and say, Eamon Ryan, it's climate change. The fish had to migrate because of climate change. He had to leave Peru because of climate change. And that's what the narrative's going to be from OT. They just had to, you know. Oh, yeah, well, that too, you know, you get what I'm saying, but well, pretty much you do, yeah, but you get what I'm saying. It's just, you know, very little to talk about and they don't answer. So that's why people are just kind of all up in the head about it. I suppose too, they're just afraid, you know, no fish being left at all. At the moment in time, there's loads of fish. Like during the summer, we see loads of fishermen from France and Spain, and they just come in and take the whole fish. And you're only supposed to take one or two and maybe bring that home with you. They literally take all the fish out of the river and off they go with it. Um, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying in terms of that. So yeah, how was everybody doing? I know a few things in the top. I just thought to talk about that because literally everybody's talking about it. Which, to be totally honest, I'd be more worried about. I can't say too much about this because, oh God, Sheena Conn might have a different opinion to it. But nobody talks about what happened in October in Cavan. Obviously, I'm not allowed to say anything because an official investigation is going on. It's the Galders narrative, and if you dare to, cross that line, you'll be in trouble. Because you're not allowed to talk about it, unfortunately. Which I would like to sit here and say something about it, but on God, I shouldn't kind of say otherwise. Because it's official investigation going on. You can't interrupt that, etc., etc. So I'm told. But if you ask around, people will tell you definitely about it. But especially with this new regulatory body, they won't be very happy with me. That I don't think they're already happy with me. So, I not test the waters on what if I'm going to say anything else about that incident. I probably shouldn't test the water because they would be very upset, I say. So yeah, how are we all doing? How was our weekend going? The tower Friday coming. This Friday coming is the 1st of March. Think of that for a second. We're already in nearly 3 months into the year. Think about that. Just think about that. When you're here tonight, think about literally it's just March nearly already. March will fly by us, and then we'll be in April, and that's nearly 50% of the year nearly gone at that stage. Well, not 50%, good 40 or 30%, I suppose. So yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, it's Mickey Joe. So I get into the first thing now. I've talked about this before. I probably should pause this just for a second. So I talked about toilets in the town, particularly before when there was knocked in the summertime. I don't know people. I have to give probably context to this. So there was toilets at the town hall in Cavan. The council knocked them for whatever logical reason they did it, and then built the stage there for whatever reason they did that either. Nobody knows. And so obviously there's only two public toilets left in the whole town. And obviously, yourself, public toilets are not the nicest place. So I just want to show you this out because there's only 2 toilets left in the whole of Cavan town. Now, the council are talking about building toilets in Consmith's Park beside the institute there. But that's probably donkey's years away before that gets to be seen to. But then again, you have to ask who's going to look after them because that question's never seemed to be asked. Let me just see. So yeah, just wanted to talk about this because a lot of people in the town are very upset about it, and probably they rightly should be, because they shouldn't have got rid of the toilets in the town hall, and I straight away say that they shouldn't have done it, especially for just a stage that you can't use half the year, because it is Ireland, remember. So yeah. And it's to do with Ungada Sheena O'Connor too. Like the Ungada Sheena O'Connor in the town, like yourself, the assault that happened with the fellow with the knife going around the place in the town. Ungada Sheena O'Connor seemed to be asleep, and again, there's drug dealing obviously going on in the toilets, in the toilets of a Tesco. It's happening all the time, and I've come across the caretaker of the toilets. He's a hard working man. He's doing his best. In a very terrible situation, but it's there's a role to play from the municipal authority, the councils and stuff, and Ungada Sheena O'Connor too, because again, it's not the caretaker's fault. What's happened to the what's happened to he's doing his best what he has. Like I know myself, I see it every day, and as you can see here, the Gardaí are nowhere to be found. They're not patrolling, even though it's public toilets draw drug dealers. As you can see here, just reading by he's cleaning it nearly 7 times a day at this stage. Oh no, say no, three or four times a day. Okay, give or take. But oftentimes, I often heard that they had to do it 6 or 7 times in one day, just before seven, like throughout that day. And it's a lot of work uh, for for a man to do, for one man to do, and especially when you have to go back and get to go forth. It's a lot of work, and it's not fair on the man having to. I know he's getting paid and all that. Um, like every day, he's doing it every day, but he isn't. The Celts have a contract company employed, a cleaning company, but it's not even that he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have to do deal with all this kind of crack with needles and stuff being jammed in the toilets and syringes and X, Y, and Z. Like, he shouldn't have to deal with it. And to be totally honest with you, it shouldn't be a private company. It should be the council that are doing it, the council men that are employed by the state to do it. But the reason why they do this, I say, is because the council men will go to their unions and give out. It's just who leave leaders behind. Like it's very bad now with drugs in these two toilets, and antisocial behavior and stuff. It's a terrible bad. And I've said this many times, and I'm the only person that's really saying this, that the Gardaí are sitting on the asses in the Cavan Garda station doing fuck all, even though there's loads of them there. There's more Gardaí probably in Cavan than there's fucking nearly anywhere else. And they're all sitting on the ass in the Garda station, and they're nowhere to be found. They won't go, they're afraid to get wet or anything. And the Gardaí refuse to go out nearly on patrol. I've seen now, obviously, they're going out a bit more recently since that fell with the knife right around the town. They're going a bit more. They have to be seen to do something after that. So in a way, when your man went around with a knife, thankfully killed nobody or anything like that. But in a way, that kind of moved the Gardaí a bit, not by much now, but it moved them a bit. But the Gardaí should be like there should be always two people on patrol in the town, like on foot patrol, because they can do it if they want to do, but they just don't want to do walk. And that's just as simple as that. And there should be like an officer on the beat. The Gardaí should employ somebody like they have a community engagement officer, but they should have a person like a community engagement officer that's always on the streets, on the beat, to engage with locals on the street, on the beat, instead of sitting in the Garda station engaging with them. That's doing nobody no good. But it's being a physical presence on the ground is better. And like I even that anti-social behavior and stuff like that is a terror, but it's not happy. Yeah, like this is exactly. I used to clean public toilets there in Belturbet, for example, so I know all about it too, and in other places too. I know all about it. When they are cleaned, they are cleaned. But when I go down a half an hour later or an hour later, they're messed up again. This is a perfect example. And there's no hate to this fellow because I know he's doing his best. I've often seen him and the stuff he had to put up with, the same as many people, even in the local authority across the country. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable for a man to do, even if you're getting paid. Like it's simply bad manners. I've seen people just shit and put the shit with their hands on the walls and stuff like that. It's just not acceptable. That's not an acceptable behavior. You wouldn't do it in their house, so it's just not acceptable. For somebody to do that to somebody and expect them to clean it up, even though they're getting paid, but it's not fair, and that's the simple as that. And the councillors wouldn't do it. Like the councillors say, "Oh, we do this, we do that, we do the other," and at the end of the day, they'll do fuck all because not one of them would go up and clean it. Like if I was there and I said to one of them, "There's loads of shit on the toilet and it's covering all the walls," would they go up? I give them the brush, I give them everything. If they go up and clean it and get those suits dirty, I don't think they would, and to be totally honest, I don't think one of them that's there at the moment, none of them would do it. If I was a councillor, definitely, because I've done it before. I'm used to doing that. I nearly have a PhD in doing this kind of crack from public toilets and stuff like that. I know all about it. But now one of the elected officials would go up and do it. Not one of them probably even know the toilets there. That's just to show you how much out of touch they are. The screen kept with 9 lives. Yeah, I have 9 lives on the screen. But we're just lecturing the Gardaí. But no, I do feel sorry for the man who has to clean the toilets. And I do think we should give him more thanks to people around the town. Only for him now, they would be lost in the town. Because there's old women, and this is what really bugs me, that there's elderly men and elderly women using the toilet, doing their shopping. Because it's the only public toilet on the street when they got rid of the one in the town hall, which is a lot more modern toilet. They just decided to knock it for whatever reason they came up with. Like, it's just insane. I could go on for about an hour, but it's just the main thing. And the sad reality is, this is the sad reality. that nothing's going to be done about it, unfortunately. The councillors, there's nothing going to be done. Because at the end of the day, I don't know really what you could do, you know. Obviously, there should be more people employed to look after and stuff, and obviously the girls should be around, but there's not really much you can do. Yeah, it's from Peru. It's from Peru. It's from specifically Peru. Wherever we turned up from, and not even that. We were saying about it earlier on. Somebody could have brought it into the country, and there could be 50 of them in a lake somewhere in Cavan. And obviously, you know yourself, you shouldn't bring in a country from, the Amazon. It's a perfect example. But you shouldn't be bringing in species from another country. It's the same if we take, for example, brought in loads of fucking kangaroos into the country from Australia. Even though, how would you fit a kangaroo through customs? But again, there's people, as Sean said earlier on, there's people coming in without a passport, and they're just allowed to waltz in. But you know what I'm saying? It'd be like Irish species, and so it couldn't be done because it's something that's unnatural to everything. It kind of is. It kind of is a brown fish. Yeah, but it's a mystery. But especially because it is the main thing that everybody's talking about. Yeah, loads of kangaroos. But no, just take for example, like it'd be very weird now in the morning if we woke up after living all our lives. I'm living here. I'm on there 30 years. Take for example, and we woke up in the morning with about 900 kangaroos around the place because yeah, it's the same as the Japanese knotweed. It was imported into the country. This Japanese knotweed down the road here. It's endangered. Obviously, it's controlled and stuff like that. But obviously, it's unnatural to Irish plants and stuff like that. It's not good for Irish plants because there's something unnatural. It's not from the state, if that makes any sense. So yeah, the toilets in the town. So we obviously have to do more. And I wish I did go for the council just to be a nuisance in terms of the public toilet. Because I'm the only one that's really basically saying it all the time that we need to do more in terms of these things. Like the councillors don't seem to, they don't understand, to be totally honest. They don't even understand the issues with public toilets and stuff. They don't understand. I don't think. And that's to be totally honest. Yeah, like not we, but that's what I'm saying. If you bring in a natural species, that's what's going to happen. Now, I do want to just bring something out. This is a bit more serious topic. Can you still see my screen? No, you can. Bear with me a second. Sorry. I actually exited out of the article, so it's my own fault. So we have bad news on the home front, unfortunately. So this is from the Irish Independent too. So it might go ahead and it might not go ahead. But it seems to be a big problem in the town, and I will explain too why. Like you wouldn't be able to smuggle kangaroo in. Like I'm sure the fuck customs would have something to say. Even though you're bringing in humans with passports, I'm sure you would need a passport for your kangaroo. Hello everyone. Hello. So you see this. The cavan St. Patrick's Day is not likely to go ahead, and I have said this. That at the end of the day, the people who organise the St. Patrick's Day, they're doing it voluntary. They probably shouldn't do it. Like there probably should be a body set up. From the local authority, basically. The local authority should be the one that's organising it. In my opinion, I will just explain it. The local authority should be the people who are like the councillors and elected officials, people that are elected, the higher ups in the council, should be the ones that are organising the parade. It shouldn't be left up to local people who are doing it on their own time and voluntary time. I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be left over. Obviously, businesses should be involved, businesses and local people, of course. But at the end of the day, I think it should be elected officials and stuff to have a role to play in it. Because it's the simple fact, and I've said it many times about tiny townspeople who walk and stuff like that, do walk and do more work in some cases than the local authority. People have lives, to have children, to have families. They haven't got time to spend hundreds and hundreds of hours planning things voluntary. And 9 lives hostage. Yeah, excuse me, but no, this is the best way because I'd be switching back and forth. And it's hard to see the chat, but yeah, it is upsetting to see it. So we see what happens because it did happen before, and then the last moment it was decided. But obviously it's to do with membership, and not many people want to do it because it's voluntary and stuff. And as I say, people have jobs, have lives, etc., etc. There's only so much you can do, as a volunteer and stuff. I know myself; I've done hundreds of hours of voluntary work, but there's only so much you can do. There's truly only so much that you can do. And I do think the local authority should have a bigger role to play in the sense of elected officials. Oh, I know, but it's just to have it, I suppose, too, because the children do enjoy it, and I know it's kind of like the Dublin one would be just a farce, but the local ones are a lot better. They'll kind of upset him and Ryan a lot. Particularly, there was a float last year in the town that really upset him and Ryan about the turf and stuff like that. So, oh, you have 2,000 people, 2,000 or so, give or take. There's a lot of children who take part in the GA clubs, but it's mainly for the children. The children enjoy it, and people like taking part in it and stuff. And there's voluntary groups and stuff, and it's supposed to just acknowledgement of their work and stuff like that. But it's just important to have, and the children get free sweets and stuff like that. So that's obviously everybody likes free stuff. Uh, but you get what I'm saying. It's not that it's the government. Just to say, it's not that they want to stop a parade or anything. It's just the people don't really want to do because they don't have they don't have time. People don't have time to give up hundreds and hundreds of hours to plan out an event and stuff like that. Like Dublin City said this one's going to be a farce, like let's put it that way. But the local ones, the local parades and stuff like that you see the local coal man take, for example, the local fire service, the local farmer with his cow or with whatever. It'd be a bit more Irish and stuff like that. And a bit more fun and stuff like that. And the main thing that I'm really upset about is just about the kids, because I even remember when I was young going into it. You enjoy it. You do enjoy it, even though it's not that big of a parade and stuff. But you do enjoy kind of just seeing the tractors and the fire brigade and stuff like that. You enjoy it, or you see children in the GA club or something coming up the street or something like that. And it's just for the children. Mainly that's what I'm worried about. It's just for the children. Yeah, like the same part, the one in Dublin, I couldn't care if that never went ahead. It's just the local one. It's not that bad. I've heard about it last year. It wasn't that bad. As I say, Eamon Ryan was really pissed off with one of the floats because it was basically making a show of Eamon Ryan, one of the floats. And there was a lot of uproar about it, but you know. Hello, Zaba, how you doing? I think I seen you in one of my comment sections. Must have been this week gone by. I only see he said hello, and then I think I seen the other mesh, but I didn't get responding to it. See, I was very busy this week. I meant to be live. Like Ted Bauer is just a con too, But no, it's just it's good for the children that have a St. Patrick's Day, but we see what happens, I suppose. But I do think it shouldn't be left up to people to do it voluntary. That's what I'm just going to say, because I think the government and the state as a whole, and I might as well tell you straight, takes the fact that your people just doing it out of the goodness of heart, there's far too much being done by volunteers and stuff, and they don't get the appreciation of doing it, giving up their own time and stuff. If that makes any sense. Very hard hitting things. So we suppose we talk about this fish too. I know there's a lot of cavan things. I have a lot more to talk about. Like I could sit here for an hour and talk about it. Like all the city ones, but if you went to the local one in the back end of No One Donegal or something like that, it'd be all about the local people. The local coal man will be there. The local fire brigade will be there. It's all about the local Irish products and stuff like that. Like the ones in the city are just woke and just about expressing wokeness, basically. Let's put it that way. And just about being the common thing, It's not even that. No, it's not to do with money. Like, there's loads of money there. There's literally loads of money there. It's just the fact that they can't get anybody to organise it. Because you need volunteers, you need to have a committee and stuff like that. You need to have so many volunteers to organise it and stuff like that and to, get all that. It's the fact of that. It's not the money. There's a huge amount of money there for it. It's just that nobody's interested. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Nobody wants to give up their time to do it, That's what I'm saying. Because they have family and stuff like that. Like the people who used to do it, were elderly people, and a lot of them have, passed away unfortunately over the years. And there's only elderly people really doing. There's no really young people doing it. Nobody really wants to do it. Yeah, like yourself. But we talk about this fish. We have to get your man with monsters to be able to do this. Sorry that it keeps changing my screen. It's just awkward. I could literally have all the articles up, but it's just a nuisance. So it was near the Leitrim border. So it was a lake. Like this has no connection to the ocean and stuff like that. So it's an angle from this lake. It's on the border with Leitrim, but Leitrim doesn't exist obviously. But like it's 2K in weight, etc. etc. Yeah, like that's what they say, the private source and stuff. But yeah, there's very little information about it at the moment. Um, yeah, river moths. So we have to get your man, but no, it doesn't look like a very nice thing to have around. Let's put it that way. Say it probably has sharp enough teeth. I didn't show the teeth, but I say it must have sharp enough. Like it wouldn't have, uh, it wouldn't be just it would bite you basically if you got it. Let's put it. Let's put it that way. It would do that. What am I looking for here now? I'll be with you in 2 minutes. Just have to look something up here. So I want to just bring up this too, because I know there's a lot talk about cavan and stuff like that. I just want to bring it up because I do think it's important too. Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that now. Evan. See, I haven't been paying attention to the majority. This is the first thing I've seen about St. Patrick's Day parade. I haven't even looked at the Dublin one because we all know what kind of show that'll be. No, actually, I won't show this article. I wait and see what happens with it, and then maybe I show it. Just trying to find this other stuff I need to talk about, but I can't really find it now. Like I was going to say, but there's a cabin woman missing in Portugal for the last 4 years, and only now the Portuguese authorities are doing something about it. But I don't think I mentioned about it yet. We see what happens. It was ways in the doll, thankfully, so we'll see what comes out of it. Now, I'm just trying to find stuff here. Because there's other stuff I need to talk about. There's that much shit here. So the two people that were arrested in Kerry, I'm sure we've seen, had relations to Simon Coveney and stuff. They're a good Fine Gael man, of course. Allegedly, of course. But, they seem to be connected with Fine Gael. So, they're all very good people, just to say it. Also, the IFA are just like they're the same as RT. Like we get into the RT situation too at the moment. Like I could fucking sit here for an hour now talking about different shit that they're doing at the moment. But obviously, RT are just the biggest crooks going too. The same as the government, the same as the West, the NGOs and stuff. They're all just crooks. They should be all just in prison. So yeah, I talk about OT and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not like she's been missing the last 4 years. It's only now the Portuguese authorities are doing something, which isn't good enough. She's missing for 4 years now, and only now the Portuguese authorities are starting to do stuff. It isn't good enough. But I'm not talking about it yet. I know it's wasting the time. We see what happens, but obviously we hope for the best that she's somewhat safe and sound. But unfortunately, being missing for 4 years, it's not looking good. Unfortunately, that's just to say it straight. But hopefully, hopefully that she is somewhere, and we can find her. But as long as the Portuguese authorities get their act together, because beforehand they wouldn't even put on the missing persons report. Now they have, which is about time. So it's about time that they actually are doing something now. So we at least have something being done. And I think they're sending somebody from Angola Shinakano to Portugal. So hopefully we get some kind of answer. And hopefully she's found somewhere safe and sound. But the chances of that are very, very unlikely now at this stage. But we hope that she'll be found. Because she's particularly just a very, very young woman. So, but I say it's been locked into now because it wasn't raised in the door, and I say they have to kind of do something now about it. I always wonder why there's no picture. I suppose I don't know. I often I thought about that myself actually. I suppose because the government, they usually do on Neo and stuff to pretend to kill. But I don't know. They're pretty much the same as Angola Shinakano seems to be. But we see what happens now. They're starting to do stuff, and so at least this movement. Beforehand, back a year ago, there was nothing being done. So at least there's something been looked into now and stuff. Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, we see what happens. I suppose I'll update you if I hear anything. I won't talk about too much, but we see what happens if I don't hear anything in the next few weeks. I talk about it. I don't want to really be causing more havoc, I suppose. But we all know what's happened with OT now. Obviously, they're the biggest crowd of scumbags you could find. Like we all know, we all knew that anyway. I could have told you that 6 years ago that OT were the biggest crooks going. Everybody seemed to be right because they are the biggest crooks going. And that literally, so it all started with them spending fucking God knows how much on different things, luxury apartments and stuff like that, big payouts to Ryan Tubridy, etc., etc. And obviously they're funded with the taxpayer, so they are accountable to the taxpayer on what they're spending the money on. And especially when they're saying, oh, nobody's paying their TV license, we're in debt and stuff like that. And every day of the week, they're looking for the government to give them more money and more money, more money. Because we all know the government just to say one and the same. The toy show music, yeah, like at this stage, it's just an endless confucker. Now we see about the OT executive, when they left, they got fucking hundreds of thousands of euro for leaving. And they all jumping ship now and they all running away. They won't appear before the Oireachtas to be asked anything, because it's just a big clusterfuck. And then we seen the one resign. On Friday, wasn't it? She resigned Friday morning. She was the chair of the OT board, and she resigned and stuff like that. And it's just a big confuckery. And then there's one's D4, take for example, I think, who's the chair of, was the director of OT, who has sending in sick sorts to the doll into the Oireachtas to say that she's sick and she can't appear before the Oireachtas to answer questions. It's just a big clusterfuck. But the only reason why they're doing all this now because they've been caught, and loads of people are just refusing to pay their TV license, and and people don't like OT. That's just about it straight. Like nobody likes them. Who cares about them? As I say, if it was a subscription service in the morning, if OT went to subscription service in the morning where you pay €10 a month to watch OT, nobody would do it. Like that's just a perfect example. So nobody cares about them. Well, Ireland's pretty much the same. Dublin's pretty much the same in every nationality. In every nationality but Irish people, of course. Irish people don't exist, apparently in Dublin. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. We say no more. Or a good friend in the Irish Media Commission will be out to seek my removal to a better place. Obviously, there's a few camps set up and stuff like that, of course. Anyway, moving swiftly along. OT are the biggest scumbags going. But I could have told you that 6 years ago. And people said, oh, OT are the greatest people ever. And, they're the biggest crooks going. Because it's just the end of the day, if it was a private body, but it was funded by the government, basically the government are OT's boss. They appoint, like the Minister of Media appoints the director of OT and stuff like that. And Simon Coveney's brother is a high up fellow in OT, So it's basically the government mouthpiece, So that's why they're accountable to the government. They're not accountable to anything else. It'd be different if they were public and only private funded body or something like that. But like OT won't survive another 5 years because people are just sick and tired of them. And especially because they have the gall to lecture you every day of the week about different things, when themselves being just the corrupt bastards. Not even everybody seemed to forgot about OT Gate too, when they were telling you, oh, if you go outside your door, you'll drop dead. And if you don't wear this, and if you don't go here, and if you go outside this, you could face 100 years in prison, and Leo won't be happy with you. But and then they turned around and done everything they were telling everybody else not to do. They would have had a nice little party. And probably, and let's be fair, like we all know, they probably had loads of parties during COVID too. It just hasn't come out yet. It wasn't just one party; it was about 50 parties, probably. and then they get in the shed. But let's be fair, uh, she was just kind of doing that probably to frighten people. Oh, I'm in my shed. It's that desperate. I'm in my shed. You have to listen to the government. It's just all a big fucking show. You totally answered. Oh yeah, we all know they just throw money at Ukraine at this stage. There just seems to be money for everything. There's no money for anything else, but there's money for that. It's a perfect thing with the United States at the moment. The United States just seem to have money for everybody else's country, but they have no money for themselves. Because war is very profitable, of course. Particularly for the United States military-industrial complex, it's very good business. And then obviously for the United Kingdom's military-industrial complex too, it's very good business. War is very profitable for people involved. But look at eventually, I don't know, the people get sick and tired of it. Like we see already in Congress, they're not getting it easy to pass it and stuff like that. And people in America are sick and tired of it. So eventually the money will dry up, basically, because people, especially with the presidential election coming, it's going to be one of the main topics in the United States. And obviously, if the United States stops funding both the Middle East and Ukraine, they're not really going to be able to do much. Because it's the only country in the world that literally can fucking find the money from somewhere. I don't know where they get these fucking billions from. Don't even look at the United States military budget for a year. Don't even look at it, because it's beyond trillions. It's more than trillions. It's it's ridiculous how much the United States spends on their military alone. Spending money. You wonder how they find all this money. And then obviously they have their little list into the Department of Defense, which is off the record. They don't release it to the public how much they spend on private, like on secret projects and stuff like that. It's insane. But very good, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. It is pretty good. United States of America, but you show about the United States of Israel, no, that is actually a pretty funny video now. If you watch it, it's actually pretty funny. It's anybody else. I have it on my community tab. It is pretty funny now. And it actually is something Joe Biden, if he went on to, that's literally what he'd be like. The United States of Israel, because that seems to be what America is more concerned about than literally an open border on the United States-Mexican border. They seem to be more worried about everybody else's border than their own border. I know we have very little to say here because it seems like just everybody can come into this country. But at least we don't have a border that's where you could say Northern Ireland's an open border. But I'm sure to God, the unions in Northern Ireland wouldn't be too pleased with just people randomly turning up. Well, I suppose that one time one person did turn up in Belfast, but why not go there? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's and not even that. It's only coming to light now what they've been up to. What have they been up to for the last few years? That's what I'm saying. That's what we need to know. But nobody's asking these questions. It's all just about today and yesterday. It's not on about during COVID and stuff. How much were they given by the government, specifically by the Department of Taoiseach or stuff like that, just to whale in the public and stuff like that? Because definitely we're given big, huge sums of money to just go with the government's narrative and not ask any questions, basically. But then nobody's ever going to ask them questions, and not even that. How many parties did they have during COVID and stuff? Nobody wants to ask them questions. Nobody's willing to ask them questions. Because definitely OT has more skeletons in the closet. But there's no accountability. That's as simple as that. And it's just if I was the Minister for Media at the moment, as simple as that, get rid of them. Out. Every one of them out. Out at the door. Get out. Simple as that. Abolish it. Get rid of it. But we all know they won't do that because OT is basically the mouthpiece for the government. And the one thing they dread, Leo and them, you can see it in their face, when Ben Scallon gets up and asks them a question, that'd be the worst nightmare if Grip Media took over OT's place. They would probably have a fit, because they actually would, you see them as soon as Grip Media comes and asks them the questions, they actually tremble in their soul. The soul literally leaves them, because they're just that afraid of what could be asked. Especially because Leo has been caught lying by many times by Gwep Media, but RTE know what to be found when it comes to this stuff. So, like I say, Leo is literally dreading himself by now if that happened. Uh, yeah, but like the media, like it takes a bit of God, I have to say this next part. But guess who's gone too? Vice News has exploded. George Soros funded them, giving them 300 and something million. They blew through that in 5 years, and now they're bankrupt and they're gone. Out. Goodbye. And these are the same people that literally said, people who reenact, the way they do reenactments of Napoleon, take for example, and they do reenactments of the First World War and stuff, like for historical purposes, not for obviously neo-Nazi stuff or any of that, but for historical stuff, to represent maybe to a group of children what happened during Napoleon or something like that. Or even just acting and stuff. They call literally everybody who does them things Nazis. What? You know, And then the same crowd that was, the Vice News, they were exposing what Saudi Arabia. Now, in fairness, back in the day, they were doing good journalism, in fairness, and then they went woke, and then they went broke. That's exactly what happened. Because they did do the good journalism, they covered what was happening in Saudi Arabia and in Iran and stuff like that, where they chop people's hands off and stuff for disagreeing with the government and stuff like. Because obviously, you can't disagree with the government out there. And what's happening to women and stuff in them countries. Now, they did do good journalists back then, but now, guess coming up to the end of Vice News is when they started to go woke. They were being funded by the Saudis and stuff like that, and then they coincidentally stopped covering what Saudi Arabia and Iran was doing. Coincidentally, but yeah, but that's what I'm just saying. The media is just like as Taylor Lorenz, the Washington Post, the one that literally, which the woman that lives at TikTok, um, that literally Taylor Lorenz went to her house, to the libs of TikTok's house, and this is the same woman. Let me get the thing. I need to find it. How did fucking? I have to try and find this now. It's going to be a nightmare. I can't spell for the save me life. But I try and look it up now on my phone and get it on my laptop. But Taylor Lorenz was. I put on music too. But that's the media nowadays. So understand by why people don't want the media and do much nowadays. Because the age of the media, back years ago when the internet was starting off, that was the age of the media and newspapers and stuff. When there was no social media like YouTube and stuff like that. People that are YouTubers and stuff like that nowadays are the media nowadays, technically. So there's really not much need for media in a way. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we know of, Sean. That's what we know of. That's what they would admit to you. They won't admit how much they got on the side for, not questioning what the government was telling them. Because obviously, I'm sure one or two of them during COVID, when the government was going around doing what they were doing, I'm sure one or two of them had some questions, and they were given a few 100,000 here, a few 100,000 there to just shut up and read the teleprompter and say nothing, you know. I'm sure they were given a few 100,000. Just you have questions about if you don't pay €10 in a restaurant, you're going to just drop dead of COVID. You know, I know they ought to be quiet now. Hello? Yeah, okay, back. Sorry. But it's the same with the TDs. Like we wouldn't even know what the TDs are saying. But it's not even that. You see, the IFA. We're not even going to. We all know the IFA are a bit of crooks. The fellow, what they call the head fellow, used to be in the IFA. He was a bit of a crook. And he's still a bit of a crook. Like all of them are crooks. The whole government agencies are crooks. Everybody's a crook in the government. Uh, oh, what's it? John Delaney was a crook. The same as the whole fucking IFA now today. They're crooks. There was a COVID fund that was supposed to be used during COVID, and they used it to pay off their debts. The IFA. Um, yeah, like the whole lot of them, like every agency, the government. I'm sure if we locked into it, like God only knows what you find in some of the agencies. But no, they were all just a bunch of crooks. Like you've seen them in the IFA. Like I was watching the Oireachtas on my phone when they were presenting in front of the Oireachtas. Like all the, the way they have statements and stuff and different things about different documents and stuff. All the documents, like look it up. All the documents they showed to the Oireachtas committee, the Joint Oireachtas committee, literally had black lines. Like fucking bitch. Like I'll show you now what I'm talking. So imagine if I was well, it's not really a good way of showing it, but just pretend maybe another marker here was So just pretend for a second, right, that this is sensitive information, right, relating to the IFA, what they spent and etc., the finances. And that you got this piece of paper, say this was the piece of paper explaining the finances and stuff, and you showed it to members of the Oireachtas, which you're accountable to. How much you spent and stuff, and you just had this. Like you see nothing else but just black line covering the roads, just because they don't want to show you what they did. Like that's very sus straight away. That you're just redacting, and the road is redacting. They're not showing it, only showing the top bit, and they won't show the bottom or anything. Like that straight away is you're up to something. You're very sus. Like it's the fact that what to hide the information. It just goes to show that they're up to something when they're doing that kind of carry on. Something big. And then the CEO of the IFA spent 10,000 of public funds to go off on holiday, even though he says, "Oh, it was by mistake." But should we all do the same? Because everything's by mistake. Apparently, everything seems to be by mistake when you just happen to have 10,000 on your holiday that's used out of a public, the public post. It's just by mistake. It was a mistake. No word of him paying it back or anything, but true. You look at. Now, I think this was the thing. No. Yeah, no video of a mistake like that. And didn't even say did he pay it back or anything. But yeah, this Taylor ends. I was just talking about the Washington Post. I think let me see. And this is journalism. This is journalism that they actually like. This is, and she's a journalist, a so-called journalist. Like I understand nobody should be threatening her family, etc., or children. Nobody should do that, of course. But to be a journalist, it'd be very tough. Now, like remember Veronica Guerin, literally going up and taking on mobsters, like big, huge mobsters that had huge empires, and they were in bed with An Garda Síochána in the state, and her taking them on and stuff like that. And she didn't cry, saying, "Oh, they're going to kill me" and stuff like that. You know, yeah, like a lot of them are like in the IFA, they were all English accents. They didn't, wouldn't Irish. But it's not even that. Even Sports Ireland, the chair of the O3 body was a Sinn Féin fellow, even though in fairness now he did ask them some tough questions. I will admit that in the Shinno. But he was there. He was the chair of the Oireachtas there when the meeting was going on, and he asked the CEO of Sports Ireland. Now, Sports Ireland oversees the IFA for the government, the sports associations for the government, and the one that's over it. Basically, he asked, "Is it good enough that basically every line in the statements that were given to the Oireachtas were basically nothing on it? It was just black lining to stop them from seeing underneath the writing." And he asked him, "Is that good enough?" And she wouldn't answer him, even though it's not good enough. That literally are the hiding information from the public, which should be public information. Because at the end of the day, both Sports Ireland and the IFA are mainly funded by the government. They're funded by the taxpayer, the exchequer. Now they do get sponsorships from different crowds, stuff like that, but that's a different kettle of fish. But you know, Taylor Lowenz, the Washington Post. Young population. No, Ireland's population is aging. It's an aging population. It's not a young population. It is an aging population. That's why they want people to work. I'm sure you've seen my video. They want people to work until they're 70 now. To continue working to your 70. Now, obviously, the pension age hasn't risen yet, but eventually they will put it up because people are living longer, allegedly, of course, in some regards. And they want it's hard on the public purse to pay for social welfare and stuff like that. But see, this is the thing: the Irish government don't want young Irish couples to have children. They don't want you to have a child. They're not making it easy. They make it hard for you not to have a child. They don't want you to have a child. They don't want Irish children. As we see at the moment, there's a huge women getting at how to get pregnant. The same with men; they getting at how to reproduce and stuff like that. And there's no questions about that either. And I can't even question that on YouTube here because you'd be got rid of. You know. Like they don't want you to have children. Like they do nothing to help you have children. Let's put it that way. Like you see in Finland, the birth rate is going up slightly, but that's because they pay little to nothing on childcare and the free education system. In this country, they just fuck you in every conceivable way. They quite literally fuck you, if you have children, because the government just take every bit of money you have of you. And basically, you're just a government slave if you have a child, because the government just enslave you, basically, and take everything from you. It's not a country for children, unfortunately. Like loads of Irish couples can't even find a house to have a child, so they can't even afford a roof over their head. And a baby's expensive and stuff, and children are expensive. And it's a sad reality, but the Irish government don't want you to have a child. They don't want you getting married. They don't believe in marriage. That's something the Irish government. They seem to be very satanic in what the Irish government believe. They don't believe in that kind of stuff. And that's just the sad reality, but it's the truth. It's the truth because the government have done nothing over the last few years to help children. To help young. Like I know 2 or 3 young women and stuff like that. They obviously got pregnant early, I suppose you could call, when they were young. They were 18, but very young at that age to be getting pregnant and stuff like that, and to have children. And they have a very tough time because they're only starting out in life. They don't have a house. The government are just fucking them in every way possible. And if they get a job, they have to pay a huge amount of money for childcare, and then they never can dream to own a house or to have anywhere for the child to grow up. And it's just staying with your parents in the back room. There's not much of a life for anybody to have a child. Sean, that's inappropriate. We don't want a good friend from the CCP, the Communist Party of China, to come in here and deal with you. A good friend in the Irish Media Commission. He's a good fellow. His name is Jeffrey Don. He's a good eyes on him, and so I better not say too much, or they would be after me. Or they come for me. Yeah, it definitely wasn't his money. It definitely 100%. But in a way, they probably should be giving Irish fans up in the FAI, because at the end of the day, they charged them enough for going into games and stuff like that. They charged them exorbitant rates. But yeah, no, John Delaney's he's a bit of a crook, the same as the rest of them. Let's be fair, to get into a position of power in any government agency or government-funded agency, like the same with the Irish refugee camps and stuff like that, you just basically have to be the biggest corrupt person. Like they literally just pick the biggest corrupt people to head anything. Now, I'm not saying the Irish Refugee Council or anything, but I'm just saying, but the FEI, OT, where could I go on? TUSLAP, etc., etc. All the people who seem to be over them are the biggest crooks in the country. And not even too much on Garda Síochána. Does anybody remember Fitzgerald and Noel O'Sullivan being the Maurice McCabe? Hello, anybody remember that? And Maurice McCabe, a fellow that was a sergeant in Garda Síochána, spent nearly half of his life in the Garda Síochána. It was like that on Garda Síochána are the biggest criminal gang in the country, and that was somebody that was a sergeant in Garda Síochána. And these are people then, and then Drew Howard too, where should I go? Yeah, like Hungary's a perfect example. Like you're upset from paying tax and stuff like that for each child you have. Um, I think it's some kind of tax, and you accept for it from life if you have children. Like they have pro-family policies, so something that people can benefit from if they have children and stuff like that. The government look after you a bit. In this country, it's kind of just a free for all. It is literally just a free for all. Like you can barely look after yourself, let alone look after your child. You get what I'm saying. And not even to mention in Ireland, particularly, for whatever reason, but you can't question this. The birth rate has declined, and it has declined. It is declined. A lot of people are sterile. And we're not allowed to question this. You're not allowed to question this because the media won't let you. You're called a far-right conspiracy theory. But it is the truth. It is honestly the truth. If you look it up, you see the fertility rate gone down. And the government will say that's why we need to import hundreds of millions of people into the country. Hello, Shawnee. How are we doing? Sorry, I seen your comment a few minutes ago. I went on yapping for a few minutes before I said hello. By using cheap labor, but it's just capitalism in the nutshell. Because why would you pay for something? One person pointed out to me one time, like in the majority of jobs nowadays, if you have a union, take for example, council job, you have sick leave. If you get sick, you're allowed to take a few weeks off for sick leave. And you're allowed to take even more if you have doctor sort and stuff, you have surgery and something like that. And you have your designated, like I think it's nearly 3 weeks you have to take, like a month nearly holidays. Because you have terms and conditions. But take for example, you get somebody that's cheap labor that's barely getting a minimum wage. You don't have to offer them sick leave. You don't have to pay them when they're off on holidays. They might work longer hours. They basically have no rights. So why would you employ an Irish person that wants to be treated like a human being and somebody that's willing to do it for basically nothing? And that's what the captain in the big companies, particularly, not the local Irish shopman down the road who has a small shop. He's willing to give it to the local man there to give him a few bob for his children or whatever. It's the big corporations. We see this the time during COVID. They wanted to bring over loads of Bulgarians to pick strawberries during the lockdown and stuff like that. But it was apparently essential to do that. And it's the big corporations that are making millions and millions off the back of them. And it's not good enough and shouldn't really be allowed. Bend the knee to Budapest. Yeah, I don't think the carry on. Well, you've seen what happened with the president of Hungary. If that happened to you, Michael Higgins to get off it. So if he pardoned a paedophile or into that, he would. There would be no repercussions. Basically, he'd be allowed to still be president. She resigned. Well, I suppose she was maybe forced. I showed Victor Orban told her where to go. But if that was here, you would be allowed because it's plain to be seen over the years, not recently now, but it's plain to be seen over the years that the government, and particularly the justice system, all the judges let paedophiles off scot-free in this country. They're allowed just to run around the place. They're allowed to just get off with every conceivable thing in this country because the justice system's just broken. Basically, they get off with it. They get suspended. Like it happens every day of the week. You should see it. Like every day of the week. They just let go scot-free. Come to mind, yeah. Yeah, like not even to mention abortions, but that's a different kettle of fish. That's a different topic to talk about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 198 during the lockdown. You couldn't go outside your house, but we can import these people over here to the country during the lockdown. Great stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but it's not even that too. Like you think about a young woman now, a young man having a child at say 20. Uh, how could they afford to live? Like not even for themselves, but how could they afford to send the child to school? Because it is costly to buy books, buy uniform. It's not cheap. But then just buy food for them, and if any other expense, shoes, clothes, other stuff around the house, food, toys. It isn't cheap. It is not cheap if you have two or three children and you have a job just gives you maybe 400 a week, 500 a week. That's barely enough for you to survive, let alone your children. Then not to mention that the government come along and just fuck you over and take half of your money and doesn't give you anything in return. Uh, it's a recipe for disaster. And you see that even childcare, half the people spending absorbent amount of money on childcare, uh, because they have to go to work, and half of the money is going to pay the childcare. Like that's no way to kind of have a society. And you can see why people the both way has declined in that way. And then there's other reasons why, because too, but you're not allowed to discuss it, as I say. But you know, it's this country's just not made for people to have children. Um, it never was designed. When back years ago was designed, obviously, where things were a lot tougher back years ago. Loads of people children, but in modern Ireland, not so much. Because the simple reality is, for an only person to live nowadays, the wages you get at the end of the week don't match up with the reality of the economy. How much you pay at the shop, how much you pay at the pub. It does not match up. It does not match up at all. You get barely enough to scrape by in a lot of cases. Um, you know, the cost of living in this country is just too high for anybody to even survive themselves, let alone their child. Uh, and when you have them kind of policies in place, nobody's going to be encouraged to have children, because that's what you need to do nowadays. You have to encourage people to have children, to make babies and have children. Because it is tough, to raise a child and stuff. Even in the modern age, it's tough. It isn't easy. But you get what I'm saying? There's no encouragement there. The government just slap you in the face. Like they already slap you in the face, but they'll slap you harder in the face. And the sad reality is when that child grows up, the first thing they have to do after living, trying to grow up and their parents scraping by to make them survive, basically. The first thing they have to do when they get to 18, 19, 30, when they grow up in 20 years' time from now, take for example, the first thing they have to do is get on a plane, get a boat, and have to Australia, because there's nothing here for them. And that's the sad reality of it. And when you have that, they can't have children, and they're gone to Australia. So it's just inevitable, just fucking yourself over. Brain drain, exactly. Like, and there's not the government haven't even bothered to do anything to try and stop it. It's plain and simple. It's plain economics when you look at it the way. And they wonder why. But we all know they're not stupid. The people in government, they know what they're doing. Like I'm sure they're not that brain dead. So, give me 2 minutes. I just the do's open. Give me 2 minutes. We had 8 people here. As soon as I left, 4 people. I know it doesn't matter. Sorry, I just had to go. I hold the cat at the door there, so I just went out to pet him, just to keep her happy for a second. But yeah, no, it's plain and simple economics, I suppose. That was one thing. Yeah, I didn't want to stay too long. Like I only went out just to pet her and then keep her happy for a second. 1 5 TDs are landlords. So ho. If we were TDs sitting in the dark. Oh, there's far too many TDs in there. Yeah, that's because they're all going to Australia. People my age and your age, like in the 20s and 30s. Now, I'm not calling you old, obviously, but like, the first thing they do is off to Australia, off to New Zealand, off to Canada. Like, I can't tell you the amount of people who used to go to school with me in the year above me at the time, the year below me, and the year I was in. I can't tell you the amount of them was gone, left, out, never to come back. Maybe on holidays, but they never will come back to work or to live or to grow old or to have children. They just never are. Simple as that. Just never are. That's just putting it straight. Because they have no other option, as I say, they have no option. They have no option to even afford a house, let alone have a children, have a family, even though the government is extremely discouraging nowadays. You know, there's no option for it. So why would you be here to basically, like, there was an interview done on O'Connor Street, and they were asking, I don't know where I've seen it, I can't remember where it was, but if you look it up, probably it's all over Twitter, maybe I say. Because I think I seen it on Facebook. I can't remember where it was. It might have been Joe.ie or something like that. But they asked young Irish, particularly young Irish people, could they afford a house in Dublin, take for example, or would they like to own their own property, I suppose. That's the way they phrased it. And a lot of Irish people said, a lot of these young people said that are only in their 20s, 30s, some of them probably only maybe teenagers nearly at this stage, 18, 19. Would they ever be able to afford a house? And a lot of them said, not in their lifetime, never. And when you see that, there's no hope. There's no hope when you see that in young people. They have no encouragement. They're basically working for nothing. If they do own their own house, they have to pay a mortgage for fucking 60 years, nearly all their life. And they maybe when they're 90, they can own the house finally. Fully own the house, not the bank. Because, the bank fucking you over is consistently fucking you over. But, it's the sad reality that is the truth. That, if you take out a mortgage in the morning, you're a young person on a basic wage at the end of the week, you don't have a hope of owning a house. Because you'll be paying back the rest of your life. You'll be basically a slave to the bank and to the government. And it's the sad reality. Why would somebody be a slave to the bank for the rest of their life when they could go off to another country where it's a bit better, the economy and stuff like that, and get a house in less than 10 years and buy off a house in 10 years? Why would somebody stay here to suffer and to spend half of their life paying off a mortgage to the fuckers in AIB and stuff like that, to the banks? Why would you pay money to the banks that fucked us over back a few years ago and put the country into debt? Another crowd of crooks, the IFA, the fucking banks, Anglo-Irish Bank and stuff, the biggest crowd of crooks too going. Like, there's a lot of crooks in the country, but they're bigger crooks too. Like, everybody, like, I don't even want to know what the fucking Department of Finance and stuff is up to. They'll probably fucking nearly crash the country into the ground. Yeah, this is the best part. They all got off with it. All of them got off with it. Not one went to prison. They might have went for 5 minutes and got out. But at the end of the day, nothing was done. They all just let go. And at the same time, loads of people lost their houses, lost their property, lost millions, and still paying it back to this day. And no consequences ever came to it. It was all just, great. Yeah, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the former Commonwealth countries. Because Australia, as somebody said, it's the sun. It's good weather. It's the sun. Loads of the family are there. I suppose it's a new, and particularly because Australia is looking for so many new nurses and stuff. They're looking for loads of nurses and stuff for the hospitals. And the biggest amount of people going is Irish people, because a lot of people go for nurses and stuff, and teachers and stuff. Like you see in Canada at the moment, a lot of nurses from here went to Canada, because the reason why, I guess, what the Canadian government do now, I know Justin Trudeau is not the best person, but in fairness now, they have a good solution when it comes to this, is that if you come to Canada from Ireland in the morning, guess what? You get the government give you a nice apartment. That's nice, isn't it? And you don't pay a penny. Like, there's nurses from Cavan that went over to Canada, like just after qualifying, just after getting out of college, after qualifying, and a nice apartment, free of charge, because they went over to help the Canadian health system. Free of charge. Not even a penny. They don't even have to pay 1 penny. And that's what I'm saying. It's things like that. Over here, we're just getting, like, as soon as you come out of college, you have loads of debt to pay. You have to pay for a car, you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that. The government not going to hold your hand, fuck you, but we're going to help anybody else who turns up. We're not going to help you after you go through college and stuff like that. We're not going to help you. And what's this? You're a student nurse. You're not going to pay you anything either. Like, we're going to fuck you over in every conceivable way. Like, it's just rinse and repeat. Like it's even that. Like there was a survey done by that a nurse. Take for example a nurse. You may be on 80,000 a year, or some 70,000. And if you're a member from Garda Síochána, like a guard and a nurse together in a marriage, right, couldn't buy a house in Dublin. The two wages combined couldn't buy over 100,000. Couldn't buy it. Yeah, that just goes to show you. When you see that, what the hope is there for a man working a 9 to 5 job in a shop or in a restaurant or in a cafe? There's no hope. There's literally no hope. And that's the sad reality. And then you see these big fucking firms coming in and buying up all the houses and stuff like that, and that's just putting more pressure on systems and putting up the rent. And these companies charge absorbent rents for a fucking 2 bedroom flat, and you pay €500 million a week for it. And then if you ever wanted to buy the house, God help you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, all the biggest crooks in the country. This. But anyway, he'll be back in about 2 minutes. Give me a second. Hello. Well, it's Trebek, yeah, the biggest crooks going to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, there's a grand stretch in the evening. Yeah, it'd be grand. Yeah, but it'll be soon getting brighter and brighter. The time will be soon going forward, isn't it? It'll be going forward, yeah. Everybody yeah, it's just a lot of bullshit in the country. What the fuck is this? Who are you? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm gobsmacked with this thing. What? Uh, what? Uh, so apparently, one person I used to go to school with is getting engaged, which I'm just like, what? And the only, I don't know. I'm happy for them. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm happy about it, but I'm very surprised. So I might be trolling. Maybe they're trolling a bit. Uh, but it doesn't seem to be. Yeah, going by all the evidence that's just been presented to me. Uh, you know, uh, don't know what to make of that now. Peggle. No, I don't know what to say. But I don't know if that's actually the troll of me or what's happening here. It doesn't look to be now. Oh, I know. I will congratulate them. So, now obviously I've been told by a third party. Basically, I've not been told by the two people themselves, but I've just been informed. But it does seem to be the case, like going by what I'm looking at here. But yeah, no, sorry about that. I just seen that there now, and I was just like, what the fuck? But yeah, no, I'm happy and delighted. I'd send my congrats. I try and confirm it before. But it seems to be the case. I don't think this person would mislead me like they did with Captain Mountain, obviously. But it does seem to be true because the evidence that he showed me does seem to be true. But I could be wrong. But we see what happens. So yeah, moving on. So yeah, I just gobsmacked when I see that. Oh, is that the big camp yoke that they have? That's Unleash. That's Unleash, isn't it? Yeah, well, sure. Look at like don't even talk about Clonus. Don't even look at Clonus out and only because there must be 90% of the town is from Timbuktu. There's nobody left from Clonus. Clonus is just basically like nobody talks about it, but Clonus is just basically gone. It's gone. You know, objective Clonus is gone. It's just destroyed. Like it's gone. like whatever, but any other town in the country, like it's gone. Like it's actually gone. Yeah, like that's a big cap and leash. I've seen videos of it and stuff, and it seems like something out of China, what they did in China with COVID and stuff like that, just to control people and stuff. It seems like a concentration camp in a way. I know before the Irish Media Commission cries about it in the game, of course, in the game. Well, probably shouldn't go like that either, but you know, I'm not even going to go there because our good friend Jeffrey will be very happy with us. Message to the government. Peggle. Peggle. So yeah, any other fun happening with anybody? But yeah, no. Eventually, you have to come to an end. This kind of stuff. Yeah, well, they say it's men and it's loads of women and children. But Joe, look at. I remember they used to say, "Oh, loads of women and children coming every day of the week." But Joe, look at the end of the day, you know. To be totally honest, the head of the DUP. To be totally honest, I think he cares more about Ireland than he does about England. To be honest, I know this is outrageous thing to come up and say, but it nearly is. I know that sounds crazy, but literally, he seems to care more about Ireland than Leo Franco. Oh, is that? Oh, I'm reading the wrong. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the DUP, fellow. Sorry, apologies, wrong person. Pegale, how did Pegale? Would you like to see Uber, for example? What the fuck? Who cares about Uber? Pegale. Interesting. Both the same thing. I think the DUP care more about Ireland than the Irish government. Very controversial thing like that, but I generally do think they do. Like because at this moment in time, the Irish government seems to hate like Ireland. They hate the Irish government seems to hate Ireland and the Irish people. Very ironic, isn't it? Obviously, to the Irish Media Commission, whatever you call them, I can never pronounce the Irish name, but the Irish regulatory body in the game, of course. We all love the Irish government. I have a huge picture of Leo Varadkar taking example. Like that's a picture of Leo Varadkar allegedly. I'm the biggest fan of the Irish government, of course. We always support our Irish government, don't we? They don't support us, so we support them in our dreams, of course. And obviously in the game, of course, Jeffrey, of course. Just to say, that's just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being sarcastic and just fucking with them because they actually will probably be looking around to try and see who they can get rid of. In a way, like they actually are hanging about. I've seen them hanging about. Looking on social media, YouTube and stuff like that, trying to see who they can get rid of. In the game, of course. Take them out for a nice dinner, of course, too. Allegedly. So, I'm not making it any easier for myself because they're just literally going to use this to be like, this is far right information. We have to annihilate them, This is far right. And obviously too, Helen McAtee was asked to describe the far right in Ireland, and she said she couldn't describe it. Basically, she didn't know what to affect. And these are the people saying the far right are here every day of the week. So interesting. Vaguely. Yeah, the one in Niche there too. Like it's not really an army camp, but it's kind of like tents and stuff. I suppose you would call it an army camp. It's okay, yeah. Oh, goodbye, man, yeah. Oh, it was not even that Sinn Féin. We've seen what Sinn Féin has done in Northern Ireland. Like, take for example, this is another great laugh. The Irish government is actually giving money to the Northern Ireland government to build roads in Northern Ireland, to repair roads in Northern Ireland. Have you seen the state of some of the roads in Ireland? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Yeah. Like, have you seen the state of the roads in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland? Have you seen the road in Monaghan I showed a few months ago? With literally potholes, like you couldn't drive the road, and they're literally giving fucking God only knows how much money to build roads in Northern Ireland. You know, and it's not even that too. Like you see in Northern Ireland, people in Northern Ireland are suffering because Sinn Féin are just basically fucking them the same as the Irish government. Because they wrote, and Sinn Féin is the government basically down there, and basically there's no good in Northern Ireland because they haven't done anything. Basically people are being fucked by the government up there too. Like everybody's being fucked. I think we shouldn't. Yeah, somebody proposed about. I think it was the British government actually proposed about connecting Scotland, like the bit of Scotland to Northern Ireland, like a bridge. But I don't think I wouldn't agree with it because I do think it's better having an island instead of connected to a country. I think that's better off. To be totally honest, I don't think we should. To be totally honest, I don't think so. But like a project like that would be billions. Like, and probably the British government are not going to pay for it. The Northern Ireland executive couldn't afford to pay for it. Like the Northern Ireland executive down in Northern Ireland are bankrupt. They don't have any money. The Sinn Féin, this is the best part of it too. Sinn Féin have run to Westminster to look for money. They're looking for money in Westminster. They're crying about getting more money in Westminster, and the British guy, like the Sinn Féin, are not supposed to take their seats like in Westminster, but they still don't. But they're going to the British government crying and looking for money. I don't know what that. I don't know. Um, but no, I do hope someday to be United Ireland, obviously, of course. Um, but I do think we're still a long way off. I still think we're another 20 years off it anyway. Obviously, things have changed a good bit in Northern Ireland, etc., etc. But particularly when it is another country's property, like take for example, we're not going to go in the morning. I hope not. The cap in hand to the United Kingdom government to Westminster for a road in Cavan, take for example. We want the British government to pay $1 billion or $2 billion to build a new road in Cavan. You think the British government are going to say, yes, we are going to build it for people in Cavan? You really think we're going to build a road for $2 billion for people in Cavan? Do you really think Richie Sunak's going to come along and say, well, we can't even afford to pay people in the country to survive, let alone pay for a road in Cavan? You'd really think they're going to do that? And you think the House of Commons is going to say, yeah, Mm-mm. But yeah, no, we do hope, I'm sure everybody would agree, it would be a good conclusion to the suffering we faced throughout Irish history, to have a nation once again. But the Irish government are doing their best not to have a nation once again. They're the ones who are doing their best not to have a nation once again. Like they're doing everything they can to sell away the country in every way they can. Yeah, but no, the thing about unionism, we see with Sinn Féin being the central government in Northern Ireland, like back 20 years ago, that would have been unheard of. That they would have you basically, well, a so-called nationalist party, but I suppose it's the unionist majority is dropping. The DUP are not getting as many votes as they used to. Like it's mainly like Fermanagh and Tyrone and stuff like that. Basically, have a huge Catholic majority at this stage. It's mainly around Belfast and stuff like that. There's a huge unionist majority. Like a lot of unionists at the moment are very disorientated, with the British government just basically fucking them over in terms of the Brexit referendum, because Northern Ireland voted to stay within the EU. And a lot of unionists are very upset about it because obviously there's a checks on goods coming from the United Kingdom to Northern Ireland. So they're very pissed about that. So basically, they think they're being pushed away from the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom government is pushing Northern Ireland away. So the unionists are very unhappy about it, and they're very unhappy that the British government didn't listen to them, I suppose. So, there's a huge, unionists are very divided at the moment. That's what I. So. But we see what happens. But it'll be another 20 years or 30 years before there ever is United Ireland anyway, if there ever is. But I could only see it happen county by county, like Fermanagh, take for example, be brought back into own. It'd be another long time before the west of Belfast and stuff like that around there, because that'd be a huge unionist area. It'd be a long time before that. It'd be another 40, 50 years before that happens. Yeah, Bobby Sands, but Sinn Féin always betray them. It's a great people and stuff like that. But Sinn Féin just literally do the opposite now. What Bobby Sands wanted for this country. They do the opposite of it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly what you just said in the last statement. They exalt his legacy. They truly do. Sinn Féin, they truly do. They truly do. I don't like some of them don't understand Sinn Féin, but a lot of them know what they're doing. Like a lot of them are being brought along for the ride. A nation once again. A nation once again. A nation once again. A nation once. Big Gilly. Let us see what's happening on the old Twitter. So we probably go on for another while anyway yet. Another 20 minutes or so anyway. Yeah, dinners in the United States, take for example, like, and Sinn Féin, like, somebody in Wales or somewhere a few years ago give them 3 or 4 million for whatever reason to give them 3 or 4 million, but sure nothing was ever asked for that. Like, they're definitely not the party of the working people. Also, what the fuck? Just to ask this question. I know this is uh, probably sounds a bit stupid, but why, in the name of God, is so many people wanting to run for the European Parliament? Like Pedro Tobin is going to run for the European Parliament. There's the head fellow in Labour, what do you call him? Aiden or whatever you call him. He is running for the European Parliament. Why is everybody so obsessed with the European Parliament? Um, like, I wouldn't run for the European Parliament if I got a bid in Europe. I couldn't give a shit about Brussels, to be totally honest. And if I went to Brussels, I would literally just cry because having to listen to bureaucrats in Brussels, people from Germany and France telling the Irish MEPs what to do and what to say. You think I listen to their fucking cock-wallop? Like, why would anybody go over to listen to their cock-wallop in Europe? Like, whatever about Darlane or Shannon or your local government, at least you have at least you're in your country, you're fighting for your people in your country. But why would you go fucking fighting over to Brussels to listen to their cock-wallop? That's what I mean to say. Oh yeah, well, yeah, I think I've seen something, but I don't know. People just I don't know why so many people want to go for the European Parliament. Yeah, it's a golden ticket basically. I don't understand. Yeah, Mick Wallace and Claire Daly are just forgotten. They seem to be more worried about trucking. Like, they seem to be honestly, at this stage, they do seem to be just paid for by the Russian government at this stage because they literally are just literally Russian MEPs at this stage. Before that, I appreciate Claire Daly and Mick Wallace when they were on about Shannon Airport and stuff. The United States shouldn't really have fueling rights in Shannon Airport. They shouldn't really, as a neutral country, they shouldn't be allowed to. I respect them for that view. And they said did good things before with the Irish water and stuff back then. But nowadays, they literally are just Russian MEPs. Like, they literally are just Putin, Russian MEPs. They're not even fighting for Ireland's interest. That's the best thing. They're not over. They're none of them in Europe at the moment are fighting for any Irish interest. Like, I don't even fucking know who in the fucking this in my area is going for the MEP. I couldn't care about Europe, to be totally honest. I couldn't care less. Yeah. Yeah, the Irish community. They're talking about wars in other countries and stuff. Obviously, we should talk about them, of course, because we see what Israel is doing at the moment to loads of children, bombing children and stuff like that. Like, it is crimes against humanity that's being committed out there. Like, it is true. It is the truth. Israel is committing crimes against humanity. They literally are bombing children and women and the like, it is genocide, and that's the word we have to use. It is genocide. And it does need to be called out, but it's the fact that literally every day of the week, I haven't heard them once talk about an Irish issue in the European Parliament. And it's not even that they couldn't care. You think the Irish MEPs from France and Germany really give a shit about Ireland? You think they really do care about Ireland? Like, none of them care. They all laugh at the Irish. Uh, like, they don't care about us. They couldn't care less about us. Yeah. But I don't know why so many people are obsessed with just the European Parliament. Uh, like, I do think the way to change the country is not in Europe. It's in Dáil and Shannon and in your local parliament constituency, like in terms of your local authorities. If you get people in there that are good people that want to do the right thing and stuff, that's how you change a country. And, you change it at the local level, not the European level, the national level. You change it from the grassroots. You change it from the local level that upwards. That's the way you change it. Yeah, but we shouldn't bring obviously people from Palestine over to Ireland. We shouldn't do that. Israel shouldn't be. I know we shouldn't be really getting it, but we have to call out when we see things. What's happening? This is a genocide. We went through a genocide before, back during the famine. So you do have to call these things out. It's particularly egregious that the United States of America stands back and lets it happen because they're the one country in the world that could stop it. In the morning if they really, really wanted to, they could say no more money to Israel. That'll be the end of it. Um, but you got to say you don't want children to be slaughtered by bombs and from planes and stuff like that. You don't want to see that. Whatever if they want to fight Hamas, they can fight Hamas, but they don't have to kill loads of innocent children and women. Uh, you know, and that's just the way I see it. But yeah, I know we should probably be quiet, but we can't really. You can't really sit at the sideline, I suppose, too, and say let women and children be bombed to oblivion. You can't really sit there and say that's okay for a country to do, because it isn't okay. We don't want to see loads of women and children being killed. We just simply don't want to see it. But we do have to keep our heads about it because obviously Ireland's not going to change anything, and that's just putting it straight out. Um, it's but at the same time we can't let genocide happen because it is a genocide. I use that word very lightly in terms of different things, but it quite literally is what Israel is doing. Like it quite literally is. Because as I say, we experienced a genocide before back during the famine. And I use that word lightly. I will say that I use it lightly. I don't use it unless I really do think that's happening. But at the same time, I don't think we should send Irish troops or anything out to stop it or anything because we're a neutral country. We shouldn't be. But we should obviously speak out and say that's not okay. Yeah, like obviously, as I said, the United States of America is the country that should be sorted out because they are literally the world police. America is the most powerful nation on the planet. They have the biggest say of any country in the world. They're the people who could stop it if they wanted in the morning. I get what you're saying. I understand. That's why I don't speak about it much because Ireland's position should be that it should be there should be a ceasefire, there should be peace, and that's Ireland's position, and it should be. But you get what I'm saying. That's why I never talk about it. But I do think the Middle East should all meet together, the same with the United States and probably the United Kingdom and France. Should try and work it out. You know. But the funniest, not really the funniest thing, but the thing about it is there's more footage from Israel of what's happening there than there is in Ukraine at the moment. That's just the funniest thing, I suppose. Yeah, pretty much is. But you get what I'm saying. But at the same time, you have to say about it when you see these things. Because particularly, like everybody says, Ireland is the most Palestine friendly country in the world. It's not that. I do think Irish people do have. I know Sinn Féin is all for it, but I do think Irish people do have sympathy when they see these things happen because we did go through it before during the famine, particularly genocide and stuff like that. As I say, yeah, but that's how I say about the Middle East again. That's why I never really get involved with it. I could make hundreds of videos talking about it every day of the week. But at the end of the day, we are. If I was in the United States, I would probably do it. But we are a small republic that, at the end of the day, Ireland's won an international stage. Or to Israel, Israel does not give a shit what Ireland thinks of it. At the end of the day, it's the big countries, the United States of America and the United Kingdom. They're the only countries that will shut it, like if they wanted to tell Israel to, we're not going to give you 7 billion a year. That's the only country that's ever going to make Israel think for a second. But we all know Israel basically. has great interest in the United States. Let's put it that way, and the United States will not stand anywhere near objecting to his way. And that's what's happening. If it was any other country in the world, the United States would be sending weapons, sending ammunition, sending everything under the sun, as we see in Ukraine. But it's just the fact that it is way, and Israel and the United States gets on well. We're not going to get into the terms and conditions of it, but but you get what I'm saying. But obviously, just with the state, that my opinion is there should be a peace settlement. There should be talks, and there should be peace, and there should be a ceasefire, and there should be the end of it. The United, again, Joe Biden could do it in the morning if he wanted to, if he really, really wanted to. Hopefully Donald Trump does get in, because definitely if Donald Trump gets in, within a week or two, there'll be an end to it. But it all goes back. But again, at the end of the day, too, the British needed the people to blame, along with the United States and stuff. We were starting, I suppose, this back years ago, because it was supposed to be a two-state solution. The Palestine would be its own thing, and Israel was supposed to be its own thing. But again, it all goes back to a former British colony, and we're not going to blame games or anything like that, but it's a long story, basically. We're not talking about the Middle East, you get what I'm saying. But if you look back on it, it was perfectible from the start. It's the same with South and North Korea. It was perfectible. Perfectible stuff. But I do agree with one thing I said, last thing I said in the Middle East. I do agree with the Italian Prime Minister and what she said today in Ukraine, that if Putin didn't attack Ukraine or that, what we see in the Middle East at the moment wouldn't have happened. It's just the fact that the United States of America and the Prime Minister of Israel knows this, is very weak at the moment. It's not, take for example, as Putin said himself, he wants Joe Biden to be the president next year, because Joe Biden's less predictable. He's not likely to do anything, to act in any way. If Donald Trump was the president, Donald Trump is more likely to do something and to stop it from happening, and at the end of the day, that's what the United States is. And you see it, this example at the moment, North Korea is firing missiles every day of the week. It's because the United States of America is just too weak at the moment to do anything. Because at the end of the day, let's be fair, the United States, if we like it or not, the United States of America is the world police. It's literally is the world police. It's the most powerful country in the world, most powerful military industrial complex in the world. Like it or not, but they are literally the world police. They're the people who literally shut people, send troops in for democracy and freedom and X, Y, and Z. But if we like it or not, but that's the way it is, and has been for the last 90 years since after the Second World War. But that's just the way I see it. But again, we get out to the Middle East, as probably the United States and the British should probably have done from the start. Not be getting into other countries and meddling in other countries, but but obviously we do hope for peace and stuff. Yeah, but that's not even in American troops who are everywhere. They literally are in every country in the world. They have bases across the whole world. There's bases in the United Kingdom for American servicemen and stuff. Not even in Iran too. There's bases around Iran and stuff like that. Obviously, Iran is a dangerous enough country, we've met. Oh yeah, but they could have done it a long time ago. But this is the thing about Iran, that they have nuclear weapons. They probably do have nuclear weapons. Iran definitely has nuclear weapons. Whatever about George Bush saying about Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Iran definitely does. They have some kind of nuclear bombs and nuclear weapons. And that's why the United States won't do anything, to Iran. They could have done it back then, said we're going into Iran too, but they didn't, because definitely they did have nuclear capabilities and missiles and stuff. And that's the only thing that's preventing the United States from coming up with this kind of stuff. But as I say, we can't discuss Iran too without mentioning what they're doing what they did to loads of women protesters in Iran over when they have hijab. A lot of them were slaughtered in prison. A lot of them were shot and killed in prison. and that obviously goes against anything that the Western world should tolerate. Slaughtering people for them simple things, and it did happen. Loads of women were slaughtered by the Iranian government because of that, and they shouldn't have done it. I just want to say. Swing into Smith's Toy Superstores with Marvel Titan Hero. But again, that's why I never really get into international politics and stuff like that. But I do say my bit from time to time about it. Um, but again, as I say, Ireland, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Ireland has basically little to no input in this. Yeah, they pretty much are. But but you get what I'm saying. Ireland has no input in the world. We we have no say nearly in the world. These countries don't give a shit what Ireland has to think of them. Give me 2 minutes and I'll be back with you. Good evening, Tommy. Uh, oh no, that's not the type of language you should be using them. Um, I wouldn't condone that kind of language. Um, you see, we have to put you in timeout for a few minutes. Yeah, but that's not the type of language you should be using now. So, Hello, hello. How we doing? But no, don't be kind now. Yeah, you're entitled to your opinion, but um, uh, well, if you look at that's the like in terms of railways and stuff back then, a lot of people have argued over the years that the railway infrastructure back years ago was good under the British, but but no, I generally do think it's good that we are our own country. I know there's a lot of there has been a lot of talk about it recently. Uh, One of the TDs here was saying about it. I know I do agree things have gone down the hills that stairs are better, but I'm just it's good that we are our own country because it's a different country. Ireland's a different country than the United Kingdom. Um, in terms of many different things, we used to have a Gaelic language years ago, Irish. It's entirely different catfish. There's some things that are unique, but that's because the British brought it over here. But there's loads of different things like Gaelic, and then you have different things that's. I know it doesn't have its own culture, but back years ago it did. A lot of people spoke Irish years ago. Not so much now, but that's all to do with colonization and stuff. You get what I'm saying? Well, that's very nice, of you. But the way it's the way you like it's the way you talk and the way you talk, and that's that. There's nothing really you can do. You could go to America, but you can go to Kerry for 5 minutes and like try and understand anybody from Kerry. Like try your best now. Look up a Kerry person, and it's desperate. Like it's desperate. Um, oh no, Irish isn't like made up language. It isn't. It is a language. It's a language. Like it is a very functioning language. Irish. Even though not many people can speak, I can't speak because I'm that dumb. Like the sex, like I tried alone in school and so like it's a long story. Like I never been into dating anybody. Like to be totally honest, I'm just kind of happy on my own to be totally honest. So that's just a bit of language. Um, like what really what well is that anything I suppose. Um, but let me see now. But I say we probably will go in a few minutes anyway because we were going to go anyway at 9 o'clock because I'm live for a long time, 2 hours. I didn't plan to be live for 2 hours, but you're looking. No, well, no country has a right to take any country, and that's as simple as that. And that's what I believe. No country has a right. Russia doesn't have a right to take Ukraine. It's the same. Every country has a right to determination. In my opinion, that's what I believe. Uh, every country has a right to exist. Basically, let's put it that way. So, but, that's the way I see it. So, I suppose it depends where you are. I suppose. As I say, whatever the mods decide too, if they want to delete something, they can. If they want, if it does, if they do take its what do you call it? It gets YouTube's thumbs up or whatever they deem as well. Uh, it's entirely up to the mods. Um, I think the mods are not very happy with you. Hello, Bitwin. Sorry, I meant to say hello. How are you doing? Well, I don't know about getting banned, but maybe just putting down. I don't know what the mods are doing, but it depends on what they deem as. I don't know, offensive or whatever. Like some of the things are a bit, a bit over the top. Like, yeah, let's put it that way. Like there is free speech and stuff, but you don't take it, too far and use a few things. If that makes any sense. I don't. Yeah, well, exactly. So, yeah, just before I was about to ban, so. But yeah, I think we might leave it there for tonight because it is 9:30 hours. But it's unfortunate that there's people like this that do these kind of things. But you look at what can you do? If to break the Thomas's offices and stuff like that, we have to just get rid of them as well. Unfortunately, you think people could just be nice and try and engage and stuff like that. But sure, look at hello, Mark. But anyway, here we leave it there for tonight. I appreciate as always people for being out here. We'll leave it there. So we'll probably be back Wednesday. We see how we go, and I don't know. Things could happen. You never know. So we see. But no, it is unfortunate because we don't want to have to, uh, get rid of people and stuff. But if they do push the line, we do have to, uh, do something. I suppose it makes sense. It's unfortunate, but because we generally don't want to ban people, put people in timeout and stuff. We don't want to do that. We do it very unregularly. Like it's very small ban list we have. It's only when people push the line when what is he seen there is when people push the line a bit. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I know the trouble, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just explaining it for people. Like we generally don't ban people just for asking questions, and we generally don't do that. Oh, I know, yeah, I know that, but I just was acknowledging it because people would just say that I wasn't ignoring people and stuff like that. And particularly when they say, your free speech and stuff like that, there's limits. There's limits, as Senator Foley, Wiley said. But, you get what I'm saying. Hello, Mark. I don't even know that they say hello. But you get what I'm saying. There's limits to free speech. You can't just go around doing that kind of stuff. You can ask questions, of course, but, What did you do to Bitwin, Davey? Yeah. I hope you didn't ban Bitwin now because Bitwin's he didn't do anything wrong now. I didn't see anything he did wrong. If you banned him, I can unban him anyway, Bitwin. I can actually check that out now. Maybe I can't actually. Need to find it out before I go on. Will you mind just messaging me if you did, Davey, or any of the other moderators here? I think maybe there's another moderator. Let me see. Oh no, but one of Bitwin's messages is gone for me here. Shows, I know. I think maybe it was a mistake, but I don't know. I check it out now, but before. Yeah, that's okay. But Mark, if Mark's still here, just tell him that I won't ban him now. Uh, yeah, like just be careful if you ever ban people out of that. Uh, you know, like I understand tags for banning you, like for probably ban the other people too, because there's a limit. There's a limit to stuff. Oh, I know, but Bitman's not. I know Bitman. He's not. You know, he's not that bad. I won't ban him now. I see Bitman then. He should be unbanned now, Adam. Uh, uh, well, not too bad in the ban list, I know. I'm just looking at the over the last few years. Like I tell you, I'm on YouTube for so long. One, two, 8, 9. We only have banned 14 people in all the and all that. No, that's okay, Bitman. Sorry, my moderator put you in. Uh, what they call it? Put you in. What they call it? He banned you by mistake. He probably mistake you from another one. But yeah, we only banned 13 accounts in all my time on YouTube. I think that's very, very, very good. Like as I say, we use it as the last resort to a lot of things. Yeah, the other ones, unless they. Oh, I know, but it's not that. I think David just hit you by mistake. And Thomas he was trying to get rid of the other stuff. Particularly one of the comments there, YouTube wouldn't have been too pleased with it because you are supposed to moderate your chat. It does say in the YouTube terms of service that you need to mod. That's why there's such things as moderators and stuff. You do need to moderate your chat and stuff like that. But yeah. Oh, but it's Bitman, don't worry. He's been here for years, don't worry. He's not doing any harm. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, that was what they do. It seems that the accounts were just created the other day, so they're definitely more trolls, definitely. Yeah, it definitely was trolls, it is unfortunate. Again, I know they probably would say, "Oh, we shouldn't have been banned because free speech, etc., etc." But there's a limit to things. I don't mind them asking me, uh, posting the questions and stuff like that, but it's the fact that we're using some slurs that wouldn't be. I wouldn't stand over using. Let's put it that way. Oh, is that what you asked, Pedro? Yeah, I read that out there. So I remember you saying that. Yeah, I know what it stands for, obviously. Yeah, but I don't know. It's whatever the moderators really take. Like the moderators, the way I work it, like I didn't tell David to delete their messages. I put one person at the time out there because I deemed it offensive straight away what he said. One of them. But it's whatever the moderators do take. At the end of the day, they do have a autonomy to decide what they think is offensive and what's not offensive. If that makes any sense. And they're allowed to really do. It probably would be Lockhoot out there. That would what it be. Like it'd be Lockhoot around Killikeen and stuff like that way. Because there's loads of lakes out there. But anyway, I think we'll leave it there for tonight because I did say it was going to 9:30 anyway too. So it's just unfortunate that there's a bit of a sour ending to the stream. But look at what can you do? You can only try and be civil with people and try and be reasonable enough, I suppose. That's what we try and do here. We're trying to be reasonable with people, but you can only push reason so far, I suppose. But yeah, look at lads and lassies. We leave it there for tonight. We'll probably be back Wednesday, so we leave it to then. Again, apologies, Bitwin, for you being banned. Again, Dave, you just clicked on the wrong account, so my apologies about that. Lucky that I noticed it. You probably would have told me anyway at some point, but we're lucky I noticed it. But apologies for that, and apologies to everybody having to see that tonight in some regards. So yeah. No, I don't mind. It's water for ducks back. I forget about it in 10 minutes' time. Yeah, so we leave it there. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate it as always. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you probably Wednesday. A few videos maybe out tomorrow and the next day. We see how we go. We walk it out. We see. So yeah, that's kind of. But yeah, apologies a bit again. It's the first time actually someone was ever, I think, mistakenly banned for something they didn't do or something like that. So even though you put a comment and stuff like that, maybe some people deem it offensive. I don't know. But anyway, take care, everyone. Good night and take care.